Another day, another frank conversation. Welcome to Hard Copy, coming to you from our studios in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Terry Ikumi. On the program this week, I sit with the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Ovio Magikey, to discuss the task before him as Chairman of the Senate's Constitution Review Committee. We also discuss the fears expressed by some Nigerians over the sexual harassment bill sponsored by him and over 100 senators. And he addresses for the first time the mace snatching incident. Deputy President of the Senate, Ovio Magikey, welcome to Hard Copy.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, thank you for obliging us. We normally wouldn't come out of our studio, but only you could do that, so thank you very much. And I'd like to say happy 57th birthday to you.
Thank you very much, even though belated, but thanks.
How does it feel? How do you describe your political career at 57?
Well, it's been exciting. There's been so much ups and downs, but I give thanks. I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at. Never envisaged I'll be here, especially given my kind of politics. I'm not really your run-of-the-mill politician. I call it like I know it, like I see it, and that may not be very welcoming to a lot of people. So naturally, that will attract a lot of those who wouldn't want you to make the kind of progress that you seek.
You think you've made progress?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a country of about 200 million people. I sit here today as the number 5 citizen of this country. That's not a mean feat. It's a big-time blessing from God.
I think it's interesting that you say that you didn't think you'd be where you are today, which leads me to a question, the all-important question. How does it feel to be leading a Senate where most of the members had accused you of aiding the disruption of proceedings at the Senate, the 8th Senate, and eventual removal of the mace? How does it feel to be leading
that characterization is wrong, it's incorrect. I do not share in that majority of my colleagues feel the way you just characterized. You must understand the background to this. I have no apologies to make when I say I'm a Buharist. This is the first time actually discussing this. I rather not, but since you've asked, I may as well continue. There was a position then taken by the leadership of the Senate at that time, or a section of the leadership at that time, to undo Mr. President, to have him removed through either an impeachment proceeding at the time, or to rearrange or reverse the electoral sequence, in the Electoral Act, to take the presidential election to the very back, by which time all of the senators, all of the House of Rep members, the governors will have emerged, and then the president will be at their mercy. And I wasn't going to have that.
You were punished for it.
Well, you could say that, I won't call it punishment, it's politics, but I was ready for it, As you make your bed, that's how you lay on it. I wasn't going to allow that position to prevail. And by the way, I wasn't alone, people keep saying, oh, Magikey, we're a Senate of 109. We had people of like minds who were determined to shut down, that exercise, and we did.
Let's go to the Constitution Review now. You seem to have your job cut out for you. And I say that because I'm sure you followed the reactions that have trailed the announcement of your committee for memoranda to be submitted. And one of them is the statement by the Northern Elders Forum that it's a waste of resources. And that's coming from the spokesperson, Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed, whom you're very much familiar with, who was the former chief of staff of the former Senate President, Bukola Saraki. He described the decision to review the Constitution as a waste of resources, especially because of the $1 billion that has been budgeted for it. What's your reaction to that?
Well, as I said in another fora, Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed is a friend of mine. I like him, I respect him. He's a patriotic Nigerian. Like you indicated, he served here as Chief of Staff to then Senate President Saraki. And in the course of his service, he assisted us. He provided, do I say, aid and comfort, for the success of that exercise. Now, we didn't achieve everything we wanted. We fell short in some areas. But the most important thing is this. Baba Ahmed at that time never indicated that the constitutional review exercise then was a jamboree. He supported us, and we appreciated the assistance he provided. But then, my position now is this: if he decided to think otherwise, I can understand. That's because he's wearing a different hat now. He now speaks for the Northern Elders Forum. At that time, he was speaking for the Senate President. So, but let me say, from the very outset, there's been a clear understanding that the constitution that we have, that was given to us in 1999, was not a people's constitution. It was a constitution that was given to us by the military, notwithstanding the enactment clause that says we, the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, do hereby give so to ourselves. We never did. So that being the case, and taking into account the framers now provided in Section 9 of the Constitution, knowing full well that this was not a people's constitution, that a time will come where there will be need to address some of those anomalies and imperfections in the Constitution. That was now provided in Section 9 of the Constitution. The power to alter, the power to amend, not the power to draw up a new Constitution. It is a power to amend or to alter the provisions of the Constitution. So I know there are those who are clamoring for a new Constitution. No such powers is provided in the 1999 Constitution.
But then the Constitution review and amendments that you talk about, is something that happens from National Assembly to National Assembly. And for many, it hasn't really yielded much. Some say that the 2014 National Conference report is all-encompassing and it will change perceptions in the country. In your opinion, why was that not adopted? Or why has that not been taken into consideration this whole time?
Well, it is your judgment that we've not had successes in the past constitutional review exercise.
I mean, look at the state of the
country.
That
is your judgment. That is your judgment, not mine. I don't share in that judgment. I can tell you you're a young man. Like for instance, in the 8th Assembly, we were able to pass the not too young to run bill. That wasn't there before. We've now lowered the ages of people who can run for political offices. So we won't have the young people out there claiming that they're being deprived of the opportunity of rendering a service. As you are right now, you can run. I don't know how old you are, but I'm sure that the not too young to run bill
favors me.
It favors you.
It does, actually.
And that's a product, of one of the constitutional review exercise in the past, at least in the 8th Senate. And also, before then, we also had in the 4th alteration, there were a lot of amendments that were brought in to sanitize the electoral process. Like you can imagine before, litigations arising from contests for National Assembly went all the way to the Supreme Court. You can imagine the time and the expense that went into that. But during that alteration exercise, it was determined that all such matters under Section 285 of the Constitution should not end, at the Court of Appeal, while that of the President and the governors continue to go to Supreme Court. Even as we speak, there are still people who are beginning to wonder if that was a good judgment. Well, they respect the judgment, we respect the National Assembly, but some are still questioning whether or not it was a good decision to allow the governorship to still go all the way, to the Supreme Court. So the point I'm trying to make is this. It is a dynamic process. It is a work in progress. The framers anticipated that we will continue to do this until such time that we have perfection. And I said in different fora. Look at the United States, for instance. Over 200 years plus, their constitution. They are still amending the constitution as we speak.
Well, would you be taking into consideration that 2014 National
absolutely.
report?
Absolutely. See, in our data bank, we have the confab report of 2014. We have the El-Rufai report. And we also have bills that were passed by both chambers during the exercise but failed at the Houses of Assembly. We have bills that failed in maybe one or two chambers. We also have bills that cleared everywhere except the president. That's all part of our data bank. We look into all of that. And you see, the Nigerian people, sovereignty belongs to them. Sovereignty does not belong to some people who sat down and came up with the confab. Remember, the confab report
It was boycotted by your party.
Exactly,
Why?
exactly. It was boycotted by APC.
By APC,
and for that reason, APC now set up the El-Rufai committee.
So you don't think that's one-sided, no?
No. Right now, see, we have the El-Rufai report, we're working with it. We have the confab report, we're working with it. And let me also tell you, there's some commonality in both reports. There's some issues.
What are those issues?
I'm not in a position to speak to them right now, but I like to believe devolution of power is in there clearly. I'm sure. It depends on what you mean by restructuring. Yeah, this is restructuring. It is restructuring for you to look at the exclusive legislative list, see that the 68 items there are too bogus, too weighty, and it needs to shed weight. That some of that should come to the concurrent legislative list that has right now, I think, about 12 items only. Like for instance, people are making the case that, why can't states, for instance, go into the business of providing prisons? Why must that be the exclusive reserve, right, of the federal government? Some are saying even rail. We saw some time ago, Lagos state government was doing their metro rail and what have you. Is this something to be encouraged? Should this be the exclusive preserve of the federal government? These are issues. That's just some common issues, And then of course also the issue of local government autonomy and what have you. So the bottom line is this: we are here. We are just mere arbiters. At the end of the day, we're trying to create the enabling environment for the Nigerian people who own the sovereign power to speak to this agitation. We're not going to sit down here and have some people say, hey, we've already given you a confab report. You take it or you leave it. This is democracy.
But
there's nothing like that.
Here's one
it doesn't
thing
work
that
that way.
Many people are reacting to. So the sociocultural organizations, the Ohaneze Ndigbo, the Fenifere, and the Northern Elders Forum, they say that there's no need for the constitution review. The details you need are contained in both, at least you say that, in both the El-Rufai report and the National Conference report of 2014. How much attention will you pay to that report? Because I understand that you've received at least 50 memoranda from different parts of the country already.
Well, I'm not in a position to speak to how many memos we've received. I think that's it coming in. We've not sat down to take an audit or a census of what has come in. But let me say this. We are a country governed by law. And the Constitution is a grown norm. The Constitution has made clear the only way, the only method, the only procedure you can adopt in altering any provision of that Constitution. If the framers of the Constitution wanted us to amend the Constitution by receipt of reports from socio-cultural organizations, it would have stated so clearly. But rather, it set out a very, very elaborate procedures. And the only way you can bring this, by the way, is through bills.
Coming up, we touch on the sexual harassment bill and the rising cost of living in the country. Join us again. Welcome back to Hard Copy. My guest is the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Ovio Magikey. Just before the break, we were looking at the task before him as Chairman of the Senate's Constitution Review Committee. His committee has received a number of memoranda as requested, but some Nigerians, including socio-cultural organizations, believe that a constitution review is unnecessary and a waste of resources. They would rather have the committee look into the 2014 National Conference report, which they say contains the solutions to the country's socio-political problems. Now, these socio-cultural organizations, to an extent, are in good communication with their respective states, and one wonders if the constitution review will not suffer a setback when it is sent to the state assemblies for two-thirds concurrence. Let's get back to the conversation. You need 2/3
Yes.
concurrence to
Yeah.
be able to pass this.
Yes.
Do you think you will get that?
I don't know.
We can't deny, I'm just
Yes.
trying to get your opinion on this, because we can't deny
Yeah.
the level of influence that political, religious leaders and traditional rulers have on politics at that level.
Yes.
So do you have fears that that might not happen if you don't take into consideration some of the positions?
Do you know where I stand on some of those issues? Do you know if I stand with those social cultural organizations? You don't know.
Do you?
I'm here as an arbiter. I'm the chairman of the Constitution Review Committee. I take no positions on any of this, even though I have my own positions. But I don't have to share it, because a day will come I'll be called upon to cast my vote on the floor during plenary on each of the bills that will come. And I will vote as my conscience. There should be no fears. It is possible if the positions they are espousing or have espoused in the Confab report or in the Air Rufai report is a consensus of the majority of Nigerians. During this exercise, it will so reflect.
Now let's go to the sexual harassment bill, which you have championed in the Senate for a while. It's been very much commended, but I'm sure you followed reactions from that. And some have said that it seems to target just one section of people and described it as discriminatory. How do you react to that?
Well, if you say discriminatory, we have the provisions of the Constitution that forbids discrimination on grounds of sex, on grounds of race, place of origin, religion, and what have you. But we also have Section 45, Subsection 1, most especially subparagraph B of the same Constitution, that permits us, notwithstanding these provisions, 37, 38, 39, 40, to proceed to enact a law of this magnitude that will protect those who are otherwise in jeopardy. And our position is this: these young women, our students, our daughters, our sisters, our young wives, who are students in these institutions, whether you like it or not, they're going through hell. And we believe we owe them an obligation to create an enabling environment for them to be able to study. We're not doing this because we are targeting lecturers. Most of the lecturers are good people. But for them, some of us will not even be who we are today. But we are against the conduct of that, should I say, insignificant few? For one, it could even be significant few.
You know, beyond the targets for lecturers, as you put it, which many think is the case, there is also the question of how many bills will now need to be enacted for the sexual harassment cases in different places, religious houses, workplace, wherever. How many?
How is that a problem for you, Terry?
That's not a problem.
You see, the target is this. We have determined that this is a big menace. It has not assumed the proportion of a pandemic. And we say we want to arrest it now. Must we pass a law that addresses every area first before we address this very well? Is there anything that says that at all times you must enact a law that addresses all concerns? And if you're not able to do that, you should not target those that are almost destroying your lives? We agree that those areas, there are also issues. Workplace, no doubt. Religious houses and their congregants, no doubt. There's a problem there. But to us, we have identified that this is a bigger pandemic now. And we need to, I don't know, you of course, you pass through a higher institution in this country. I don't need to tell you what goes on there. This thing happens every day. And we have to stop it now. You can't tell us. I'm a father. I have 3 daughters. So when I act, I have that in the back of my mind. What if my kids were here? If you had kids, young daughters, will you allow them to be used by some of these predators on campuses?
There's another portion of your bill that's raising reactions, and that's describing females in schools as minors. And some have said that, to a great extent, the female students in schools are above the age legally allowed by law to be described as minors. In that case, are you not taking away their rights to make decisions?
No. To begin with, we are not saying that they are minors. We are saying that the law treats minors as people who are incapable of giving informed and voluntary consent to these kinds of sexual relationships.
You think a 25-year-old who is in school is a minor?
No. I've not said so. That's what I'm trying to clarify. I am saying that we are trying to treat them like minors. We are not saying they are minors. We are saying that the way the law treats minors, by saying that you cannot have this sexual relationship with them because they are not capable of giving informed and voluntary consent. That because of the special relationship, the fiduciary relationship of trust, of dependency between the lecturers and the female students, even though they are 18, 19, 20 to 25, as you just said right there, because of that special relationship, that relationship has deprived them of the ability to give informed and voluntary consent. Because if they say no, for a course of 4 years, for them to graduate, some of them will have to spend 6, 7, 8 years to graduate. So they're not even capable of saying no. So now we want to make it easy. Say now you can say no. And if the lecturers proceed, you will be the one to remain on campus. Where they will go?
I cannot help but take you up on this. That's an increased cost of living in the country. Does it bother you that your party is at the helm of affairs and this is happening? There's an increase in virtually everything now. People are complaining. There's an increase in fuel, increase in cable TV subscription, increase in electricity tariff. Does it bother you?
Is there anyone who isn't bothered? Aren't you bothered?
I am, but
I
it's
am
your
bothered.
party that's at the helm of affairs.
No. Everyone is bothered. But you must take into account that this is a global phenomenon. Because of the pandemic, the lockdowns for how many months? About 6, 7 months now. The economy actually grounded to a halt. There were several times we had meetings, the leadership of the National Assembly with the economic team from the villa, where we were made to face reality. There was a time where the price of crude oil per barrel actually went down to 0. So there's no money. Now, in the absence, when you're not receiving that money, we're not headed for depression or even a recession. You see, asking government to continue to pay a subsidy. At some point, when the funds are there, yes, we could make the case, Mr. President, this decision has been taken to deregulate. Maybe we should reconsider it. But for now, I'm not so sure that the government has any option. And it doesn't matter whether it's an APC government or a PDP government. Any government of today would have been forced to take exactly the same decisions that this government is taking. But we're not happy about it. And in our only two ways, we're looking for how we can provide palliatives, to our people. And people should understand, it's not only government that should be out there helping people. There are others who have been better blessed, and they can also reach out to those who are not as endowed as they are.
You say it's uncomfortable, that no one would be comfortable in this situation,
yeah.
But I'm really very curious because you are the second man as far as the Senate is concerned. What's the Senate going to do about this when it resumes?
Well, I've spoken as Senator Ovio Magikey, and my position is this. You can make the best case you will, but what about the funding? Where is the money coming from? I don't think you require any scientist or any magician to tell you that we don't have funding in this country right now. And it is not limited to Nigeria alone.
Well, that's hard copy. Send feedback to the email address and social media handles on your screen. And also remember to catch this and other episodes of Hard Copy on our website, channelstv.com. Also catch our podcasts, channelstv.com/podcasts. Thank you for watching. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.